What's up, Vikings Nation? We are less than a week away from the NFL Scouting Combine, and the buzz around the Minnesota Vikings is getting louder by the minute. Mock drafts are flying in from every direction, and some of them are absolutely wild. But today, we're diving into one simulated 7-round draft that might shock you. Here's the teaser. What if the Vikings ignored their biggest defensive needs early and went all in on offensive firepower? What if this draft was built to please Kevin O'Connell instead of fixing the secondary? Stick with me because this one feels like a roller coaster. Right now, across 145 collected mock drafts, Clemson cornerback Avion Terrell leads the way with 53 total selections. That tells you how heavily defense is trending. But instead of predicting what will happen, this simulation explores what could happen. And trust me, it gets interesting fast. So instead of building the board off pure opinion, this time the Pro Football Focus simulator took control. No bias, no emotion, just algorithm-driven chaos. And when it finished running all 7 rounds for the Minnesota Vikings, the result felt bold, maybe too bold. This mock draft almost feels like something out of the 1990s, something Dennis Green would have done. It leans heavily into offensive creativity early, even when the defense is clearly screaming for help. And that's where the debate begins. Let's break it down pick by pick, because every selection tells a story about what this team could value in April. With the 18th overall pick, the simulator selects KC Concepcion, wide receiver from Texas A&M. Yes, you heard that right, another wide receiver. And immediately, Vikings fans everywhere are asking, do we really need this? Now listen, Concepcion isn't Randy Moss. But the talent is undeniable. He's explosive, twitchy in his routes, and can absolutely take the top off a defense. That kind of speed changes defensive game plans instantly. He fits everything Kevin O'Connell looks for: sharp route running, acceleration off the line, and serious yards after catch ability. If he's on the board, he's a temptation. But with 2 elite receivers already outside, is this luxury or genius? You tell me in the comments. At pick 49, the Vikings go Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle from Northwestern. And again, this feels like another luxury pick. The offensive line isn't a glaring weakness, but depth is always valuable. Tiernan brings versatility. He can slide between tackle and guard. That flexibility matters in a long NFL season. Injuries happen. Depth wins games in December. But here's the big question. Was this the right spot to pass on defensive help? With so many issues in the secondary, does adding offensive line depth in round 2 make sense? Or is this another pick that prioritizes comfort over urgency? In round 3 at pick 82, the Vikings grab Jack Endries, tight end from Texas. And now things start feeling repetitive. Especially if TJ Hawkinson stays, which remains the expectation, this becomes even more curious. Endries is a 3-down tight end with vertical ability up the seam. He's not a carbon copy of Hawkinson, but stylistically, there are similarities. Strong route presence, reliable hands, capable blocker. But if he's projected as a developmental T3 in 2026, is that the best use of a 3rd-round selection? Vikings fans, are we building for now or building for later? At 97 overall, the Vikings finally address running back with Seth McGowan out of Kentucky. And while this finally fills a real need, the fit is puzzling. McGowan is a physical, one-gap runner. He thrives on downhill aggression, but he lacks true breakaway top-end speed. That's not typically what O'Connell's system prioritizes. Pairing him with Jordan Mason raises stylistic questions. Is this adding variety or redundancy? Talent is there. Fit is questionable. Then at pick 161, another running back, Jamari Taylor from Virginia. Back-to-back running backs in this draft? That's tough to sell. Taylor actually fits better stylistically. He's built similarly to Aaron Jones and offers a more dynamic skill set. Not elite speed, but functional explosiveness and receiving upside. But drafting 2 backs when the defense is full of holes? That's where frustration starts creeping in. Are we stacking offense while the defense waits? At 195 overall, the Vikings finally take a defensive back, Robert Spears-Jennings, safety from Oklahoma. And honestly, waiting this long feels risky. Spears-Jennings is aggressive downhill and plays the run well. He triggers fast and brings energy. But in man coverage, there are concerns. His aggressiveness can work against him. Still, in round 6, that's acceptable value. The real issue isn't the player, it's the timing. Why wait this long to address such a major need? At 234, T.J. Hall from Iowa becomes the first cornerback selected. Round 7. That's hard to believe considering how thin the secondary currently looks. Hall offers solid size and decent versatility between man and zone. He's competitive and athletic enough to carve out a role. Ball skills are still developing, but late in the draft, that's understandable. The upside is intriguing. The question is whether this is too little, too late. One pick later at 235, Domani Jackson, formerly a top recruit at USC before transferring to Alabama, joins the Vikings. Now this is a fascinating upside swing. Jackson has ideal pressman traits. Size, physicality, flashes of dominance. But consistency has been an issue throughout his college career. In the 7th round, though, that's exactly where you take chances. High-ceiling developmental project. That's good value this late. Finally, at 244, Josh Moten from Southern Miss rounds out the cornerback room. Listed at 6 foot, around 185 pounds, he brings length and ball-tracking ability. But there's a clear strength deficiency, especially against the run. He'll need development in the weight room and technique refinement. Still, adding 3 corners late at least acknowledges the need. The real debate is whether this approach is reactive instead of proactive. So what's the big picture here? This draft feels like it was built to maximize offensive creativity under Kevin O'Connell. Concepcion might contribute immediately, but likely as a WR3 in year 1. Meanwhile, defensive tackle, linebacker, and major secondary upgrades were pushed deep into day 3. That's a risky strategy for a team that has serious defensive turnover ahead. Vikings fans, is this a wasted opportunity or a bold vision for offensive dominance? Would you rather load up on weapons or lock down the defense first? Drop your thoughts below. If you love breaking down Minnesota Vikings news like this, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with every Vikings fan you know. We're just getting started as the combine approaches, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Skol.